My lovely students, welcome to Mathological. In this session, we'll be discussing general knowledge based questions. Start करते हैं सेशन को एंड इफ यू नॉट ऑलरेडी सब्सक्राइब टू चैनल तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लेना और साथ में बेल आइकॉन भी प्रेस कर देना. एंड इफ यू लाइक द कंटेंट एज वेल तो मेक श्योर टू लाइक दिस सेशन. ओके, सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, विच रूट विल ऑपरेट फर्स्ट हाइड्रोजन पावर ट्रेन इन इंडिया? मुंबई अहमदाबाद, जींद सोनीपत, चंडीगढ़ अंबाला या फिर दिल्ली गुरुग्राम? द आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज जींद सोनीपत विल बी ऑपरेटिंग फर्स्ट hydrogen power train in India. And the train will be starting, this first hydrogen power train will be starting from January 26, 2026. And from Jind to Sonipat, total stretch is 90 kilometers. So it will be world's longest hydrogen power train. Okay. And to run 1 kilometer approximately, the train will be using 900 grams of hydrogen, which will be produced from 9 liters of water through electrochemical technology. This is the data for this question. Okay, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Next one, which Indian city will host the Commonwealth Games 2030? New Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, or Ahmedabad? Now 2030 is important because Commonwealth Games started in 1930. First Commonwealth Games were held in Canada in 1930. So 2030 will be basically 100 years of CWG, Commonwealth Games, and this will be 24th edition of Commonwealth Games. It will be held in Ahmedabad. Option D. And this is second time that Commonwealth Games will be held in India. Second time. So first CWG that was held in India was in Delhi in 2010. And second one, this is in Ahmedabad in 2030. Next question. In the gross domestic product of India, GDP of India, the largest share in the current years has come from which of the following? Large scale industries, services sector, small and cottage industries, or agricultural sector? The answer to this question is service sector is the answer. Because service sector contributes to roughly 54% of GDP. Basically, there are three sectors so that contribute to GDP. Agriculture, that is the primary sector, agriculture and forestry. Agriculture, then second is industries, secondary sector, and then services. Agriculture contributes to roughly 16% of GDP, but more than 50% of population is dependent on this. Industries contribute to roughly 30%, and services contribute to the remaining 54%, which is the major chunk. Okay. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding biosphere reserves. First statement, the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve was the first biosphere reserve established in India. And second statement, the Man in the Biosphere MAB program is run by the IUCN. Which of the following statements are correct? The first statement correct है, Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, the first biosphere reserve established in India. This is correct. First biosphere reserve, and this was established in 1986. And Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, this is in Western Ghats, in states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Second statement, Man of the Biosphere program is run by the IUCN. This is incorrect because this is not run by IUCN, but rather the program is run by UNESCO. That is a UN organization, UNESCO. The Man in the Biosphere program is run by UNESCO. Okay, Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, that is the oldest biosphere reserve, first biosphere reserve from established in 1986 in Western Ghats. The first statement is correct only, second one is not correct. अब एक बार पूरा एक लिस्ट देख लेते हैं ऑफ द बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व्स. इंडिया हैज टोटल 18 बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व्स. दिस इज द लिस्ट of all the 18 biosphere reserves. Out of those total 18 biosphere reserves, 12 are also recognized by UNESCO under MAP program, Man in Biosphere program. Total 18 biosphere reserves. Nilgiri, Nanda Devi, Nokrik, Gulf of Mannar, Sundarbans, Manas, Great Nicobar, Simlipal, Dang Dibang, Dibru Sekhoa, Panchmadi, Kanchenjunga, Agastyamalai, Achanakmar Amarkantak, Great Run of Kutch, Cold Desert, Seshachalam Hills, and Panna. Nilgiri is in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Western Ghats. Okay, this is the oldest. Similarly, the largest one is Great Run of Kutch. This is the largest of biosphere reserves. And smallest is Nokrik in Meghalaya. That is in Eastern Hills. Nanda Devi is in Uttarakhand. Gulf of Mannar is in Tamil Nadu. Nanda Devi mein Jim Corbett National Park is there. Gulf of Mannar, Tamil Nadu. Sundarbans, West Bengal. Manas, Assam. Great Nicobar in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Simlipal is in Odisha. Arunachal Pradesh mein Diang Dabang. Dibru Saikhowa in Assam. Pachmadi is in Madhya Pradesh. Kanchenjunga, Sikkim. Agastyamalai in Kerala. Achanakmar Amarkantak in MP, Chhattisgarh. Great Run of Kutch in Gujarat. Cold Desert in Himachal Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh में there is Seshachalam Hills and Panna, the latest one, that is in Madhya Pradesh. अब ये जितने भी हमने रेड में मार्क किए हैं, all these are recognized by UNESCO under the MAP program. ठीक है, so these are 12: Nanda Devi, Nilgiri, Nokrik, Gulf of Mannar, Sundarbans, Great Nicobar, Simlipal, Pachmadi, Kanchenjunga, Agastyamalai, Achanakmar Amarkantak, and Panna. So these 12 are recognized by UNESCO. Okay, next question. Consider the following statements. First statement, core inflation excludes food and energy prices because they are volatile. And second one, high inflation usually benefits the bondholders, lenders, and hurts the borrowers. Which of the following statements are correct? First statement, core inflation. Core inflation is basically the measure to know the trend of inflation in the long run. Trend of inflation in long run. ठीक है, since food prices are very volatile, भाई daily basis पे change होते हैं, energy prices भी daily basis पे change होते हैं, that is why since they are very volatile, so they are excluded because of their volatile nature from core inflation. So the first statement is absolutely correct. Because उनसे हम long term का inflation का जो trend है वो identify नहीं कर सकते, that is why they are excluded. Second, high inflation usually benefits the bondholders, that are lenders, and hurts the borrowers. This statement is not correct. This is not correct. बिकॉज इसका जस्ट ऑपोजिट होता है कि हाई इन्फ्लेशन बेसिकली बेनिफिट्स द बोरोवर्स एंड हर्ट्स द लेंडर्स. बिकॉज इन्फ्लेशन अगर हाई है, इन्फ्लेशन क्या इंप्लाई करता है? इन्फ्लेशन हाई है यानी कि सेम आइटम तुम्हें ज़्यादा पैसा पे करना पड़ेगा फॉर द सेम आइटम, इजंट इट सो? तो ड्यू टू हाई इन्फ्लेशन वैल्यू ऑफ मनी डिक्रीजेस. वैल्यू ऑफ मनी डिक्रीजेस. तो अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल तुमने एक बैंक से लोन उठाया, ठीक है, 100 रुपीज़ का तुमने लोन उठाया, 10% इंटरेस्ट दे रहे हो, 110 तुम्हें पे करना है आफ्टर 1 ईयर. अब इस 110 का वैल्यू कम हो गया, तो जिसने तुमको पैसा दिया उसको इफेक्टिवली 110 जो मिल रहा है, दिस इज लेसर देन 110 बिकॉज ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन. सो दिस इज हर्टिंग द बॉन्ड होल्डर और द लेंडर. बट जिसने पैसा लिया, ठीक है, बोरोवर, फॉर बोरोवर दिस इज बेनिफिशियल बिकॉज ही इज अल्टीमेटली पेइंग लेसर. ठीक है, बिकॉज विद टाइम जो उसका डेट है वो डिक्रीज कर रहा है. इजंट इट सो? क्योंकि इन्फ्लेशन है, इन्फ्लेशन अल्टीमेटली 110 वो जो पे कर रहा है, दिस इज नॉट वर्थ 110, दिस इज वर्थ लेसर बिकॉज ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन. So this is benefiting the borrower and hurting the lender. So only first statement is correct, second one is incorrect. Next question. Which article of the Indian Constitution deals with the Uniform Civil Code UCC? The answer is Article 44. Article 44, which is part of Part 4 of Indian Constitution. और Part 4 में है Directive Principles of State Policy, DPSP. Article 44 is part of DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. This is specifically relevant because of recent cases. One case is that of Shah Banu case. ये तो recent case नहीं है, पुराना case है, Shah Banu. This was 1985 case. Recently more popularized by the movie Haq. But there was a recent case that was based on Saira Banu. Case in 2017 based on Talaq-e-Biddat, triple talaq. Okay, and there was another case that was Sarla Mudgal case in 1995. In this Sarla Mudgal case, the Hindu husband, converted to Islam to have another marriage. Okay, so these are important cases related to Uniform Civil Code. And Uniform Civil Code basically deals with, or will be dealing with, the civil laws which will be relating to marriage, divorce, inheritance, succession, and adoption. ठीक है, यूसीसी बेस्ड रिफॉर्म्स आर ऑलरेडी इन प्लेस इन 2 states, गोवा और उत्तराखंड में, यूके उत्तराखंड में देयर आर ऑलरेडी यूसीसी बेस्ड रिफॉर्म्स इन प्लेस. This is all the information about Uniform Civil Code that we need to know. Okay, ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. अच्छा, आगे बढ़ने से पहले एक और चीज कि पार्ट 4 में हमारा डीपीएस भी है और पार्ट 3 इज फंडामेंटल राइट्स इन द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. Next question. In the context of the 2025-26 geopolitical landscape, the global south broadly refers to which of the following? Countries in the southern hemisphere, countries of Australia and New Zealand, developing and less developed countries of Latin America, Africa and Asia, and members of the Antarctic Treaty. Global south represents option C, developing and less developed countries of Latin America, Asia and Africa. Okay. Next question. The total internal reflection TIR is the working principle behind which of the following technologies? Optical fiber communication, mirage formation in deserts, या endoscopy, medical imaging? The answer is all three, all of them. TIR, total internal reflection, is used in optical fiber communication, mirage formation in the deserts, as well as endoscopy. Endoscopy में basically optical fibers ही use होता है. Medical imaging में वहां पे भी optical fibers ही use होता है. Okay. Next, consider following statements. The first one, the COP30 summit was hosted by Brazil in the city of Belém. And second one, Pakistan hosted the ICC Champions Trophy in 2025, marking the return of a major ICC event to that nation after decades. Second statement is correct. First one is also correct. COP30 summit was held in November 2025. And COP is Conference of Parties. The 30th summit of Conference of Parties. And this Conference of Parties summit is basically a summit of UN Conference for Climate Change. UN Climate Change Conference, that is what is COP Summit. Okay, the 30th summit of COP Summit was held in Brazil in the city of Belém. That is also correct. So both statements correct hai. Option C will be the answer. Okay, next question. Which of the following is the value of all final goods and services produced within the boundary of a nation during 1 year period? All final goods and services produced within the boundary of nation during 1 year period. GNP is gross national product. Gross national product. GDP is gross domestic product. Similarly, NNP is net national product और NDP is net domestic product. ठीक है, N यानी कि net, तो NNP is net national product and NDP is net domestic product. अब यहाँ पे दो वर्ड्स इंपॉर्टेंट है. एक तो हो गया हमारा N वर्सेस G, यानी कि नेशनल वर्सेस डोमेस्टिक. डोमेस्टिक इंप्लाइज कि कहाँ पे गुड्स प्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं, गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज कहाँ पे प्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं, यानी कि दिस इज बेसिकली अबाउट वेयर, ज्योग्राफी. In domestic, geography is important. If the goods are being produced inside the territory, inside the boundary of a nation, then those are called domestic products. National is more about who is producing it. Who is producing it? So if the citizens of a particular nation are producing it, then it is part of national product and not domestic product always. क्योंकि अगर वो outside the nation produce करें, domestic का part नहीं होगा. ठीक है, but national का part होगा. तो national is about who and domestic is about where. तो क्वेश्चन हमारा पूछ रहा है वैल्यू ऑफ ऑल फाइनल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस विद इन द बाउंड्री ऑफ अ नेशन ड्यूरिंग 1 year पीरियड. दैट आंसर इज दैट जीडीपी, ऑप्शन बी, ग्रॉस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट. ओके, और नेशनल होगा हमारा वैल्यू ऑफ ऑल फाइनल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय सिटीजन्स ऑफ इंडिया, सिटीजन्स ऑफ अ नेशन ड्यूरिंग 1 year पीरियड. ठीक है, सो डोमेस्टिक में हमारा जीडीपी और जीएनपी में फर्क क्या है? जीडीपी से अगर हम जीएनपी में आएंगे तो जीएनपी विल बी बेसिकली इक्वल टू जीडीपी प्लस NFIA, नेट फैक्टर इनकम फ्रॉम अब्रॉड. तो जीडीपी में हमारे सारा के सारा जो भी प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है इनसाइड द बाउंड्री ऑफ इंडिया, दैट विल बी पार्ट ऑफ जीडीपी. बट उसमें फॉर एग्जाम्पल another foreigner is also producing something in India, that will also be part of GDP. But GNP का part वो नहीं होगा because foreign national is not citizen of India. Similarly, an Indian producing something abroad will not be part of GDP, but that will be part of GNP. तो NFIA हमारा net factor income abroad में क्या ऐड करेंगे? We'll be adding incomes of citizens of India that are living outside India, and we'll be subtracting incomes of foreigners living in India जो कि इंडिया में प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, तो वो हमें सब्ट्रैक्ट करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज GNP. क्लियर है बात? ठीक है. सो GNP विल बी GDP प्लस NFIA, नेट फैक्टर इनकम अब्रॉड. अब बात करते हैं नेट की, NDP. तो NDP इज GDP माइनस डेप्रिसिएशन, यानी कि एट फैक्टर कॉस्ट. तो GDP माइनस डेप्रिसिएशन, डेप्रिसिएशन को रिमूव करने के बाद में दैट इज NDP. एंड NNP इज नेट नेशनल प्रोडक्ट, और NNP इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड नेशनल इनकम. ओके, ठीक है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Which gas is primarily responsible for the greenhouse effect on Earth? Oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, or helium? The answer is, for greenhouse effect, CO2 is responsible. Carbon dioxide. Okay. Earth receives all its energy from sun. Okay. Sun से आया heat. अब sun से जब heat आएगा तो उसकी वजह से Earth will be warming up. Earth हीट होगा, अर्थ का टेम्परेचर राइज करेगा. जब अर्थ का टेम्परेचर राइज करेगा, सन से ये जो रेज आ रही हैं, अर्थ विल स्टार्ट रिफ्लेक्टिंग बैक सम ऑफ द रेज. ठीक है, सम ऑफ द रेज अर्थ विल स्टार्ट रिफ्लेक्टिंग बैक, और ये जो रेज अर्थ रिफ्लेक्ट बैक करेगा, दीज विल बी इंफ्रारेड, IR रेडिएशन, इंफ्रारेड रेडिएशन. ठीक है, विजुअल स्पेक्ट्रम है हमारा, दैट इज विबग्योर. तो रेड का वेवलेंथ इज हाईएस्ट इन दिस. अब इसके बाद में IR रेडिएशन आएगा, और इससे पहले आता है UV रेडिएशन. सो IR रेडिएशन अर्थ विल बी रिफ्लेक्टिंग बैक. ये जो IR रेडिएशन अर्थ रिफ्लेक्ट बैक कर रहा है, CO2 विल बी एक्टिंग एज अ ब्लैंकेट. CO2 एज अ ब्लैंकेट एक्ट करता है, और CO2 इसको रोकता है. CO2 स्टॉप्स इंफ्रारेड रेडिएशन फ्रॉम emitting. So that is why absorb करता है CO2 इसको, and that results in increase in temperature. And that is what is greenhouse effect. Okay. Next question. Which African nation becomes the first to adopt India's unified payment interface, UPI payment interface adopt करने वाला first African nation? So answer is Ghana, Nigeria, Namibia, Kenya. Answer is option C, Namibia. स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन, इसमें कुछ और एक्सप्लेनेशन की जरूरत नहीं है. यू ऑल नो व्हाट UPI इज. ठीक है. सो दिस इज द केस कि नामीबिया इज द फर्स्ट अफ्रीकन नेशन, एंड just know the name as well. NPCI is connected with UPI. Next one. Which of the following best describes the term evergreening of loans? Option A, writing off bad loans to clean the balance sheet. Option B, giving a new loan to a borrower to help them pay off an old loan, concealing the true status of the bad asset. Option C, providing loans to green energy projects at subsidized rates. या फिर option D, converting short-term debt into long-term equity. The answer to the question is option B, giving a new loan to a borrower to help them pay off an old loan. ठीक है, कंसीलिंग द ट्रू स्टेटस ऑफ द बैड एसेट. अब हुआ क्या, एक पर्सन ने लोन लिया, ठीक है, अब वो लोन नहीं पे कर रहा है, तो बैंक ने कहा कि कोई बात नहीं, तुम लोन नहीं पे करो तो एक नया लोन ले लो और उस लोन से पुराना लोन पे कर दो. तो अब बैंक के लिए यहाँ पे बेनिफिट क्या हुआ कि जो उसका बैड एसेट बनने जा रहा था, जो उसका NPA में कन्वर्ट होने जा रहा था लोन, पुराना लोन, वो पे आउट हो गया और नया लोन आ गया उसकी जगह पे. ठीक है, सो कंसील्ड द ट्रू नेचर ऑफ द बैड एसेट, और एक नया लोन क्रिएट करके उस बोरोवर को दे दिया जिसका क्रेडिट लिमिट जो क्रेडिट वर्दी नहीं था, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली ही वाज नॉट एबल टू पे द ओल्ड लोन. इजंट इट सो? दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम, दैट इज एवरग्रीनिंग ऑफ लोन्स. ओके, लोन पे लोन देते चले गए. नेक्स्ट वन. विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट करेक्ट विद रेफरेंस टू इंडियन बैंकिंग? फर्स्ट वन, लार्जेस्ट प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक HDFC. सेकंड वन, टोटल नंबर ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स 14. थर्ड, लार्जेस्ट कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग बैंक, cooperative sector bank, Saraswat Cooperative Bank, and last one, largest public sector bank, SBI. The first is correct. HDFC is the largest private sector bank. Last one is also correct. Largest public sector bank is SBI, and largest cooperative sector bank is also Saraswat Cooperative Bank. The only statement that is not correct is total number of public sector banks, because that is not 14. This number is 12, and this number is decreased because of merger of banks. recently. Option B is the answer. Okay. ठीक है. Next question. Which of the following is the apex bank for agricultural credit in India? SIDBI, RBI, NABARD or IDBI? Answer is NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. NABARD is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. And this was established in 1982. Okay. आगे बढ़ते हैं. What is the name of the microbial spray consisting of a blend of 7 fungi developed by ICAR-IARI, New Delhi for the in situ accelerated decomposition of paddy straw or parali? A blend of 7 fungi developed by ICAR-IARI, New Delhi for in situ accelerated decomposition of parali, paddy straw. That comes every year in the news during the Diwali season. Okay? So in situ accelerated decomposition, and that answer is Pusa decomposer. And ICAR is Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that is in New Delhi, Pusa, New Delhi. Pusa Institute. This is also known as Pusa Institute, Pusa, New Delhi. Okay, ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. IARI is Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Okay. Next one, a light year is a unit of time, intensity of light, distance or speed. Answer is distance. Option C. A light year is distance traveled by light in 1 year. Light in 1 year, which is roughly approximately 9.46 into 10 to the power 12 kilometer. Next question. Who gave the theory of drain of wealth during the British rule in India? Mahatma Gandhi, Dadabhai Nauroji, Bal Gangadhar Tilak or Jawaharlal Nehru? Answer is Dadabhai Nauroji gave the theory of drain of wealth during the British rule of India. British rule in India, and he wrote a famous book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Dadabhai Nauroji. Who is the first Indian author to win the International Booker Prize for a translated work for the novel Tomb of Sand, Reth Samadhi? International Booker Prize is basically given for a translated works. ठीक है, एक तो होगा बुकर प्राइज, मेन बुकर प्राइज. इंटरनेशनल बुकर प्राइज इज गिवन फॉर ट्रांसलेटेड वर्क्स, only for translated works. And Reth Samadhi was the original text written by the Indian author, and this received award International Booker Prize in 2022. It was translated, and the translated name was Tomb of Sand. The author of Reth Samadhi, Gitanjali Shri, she received International Booker Prize for the book, for the novel Reth Samadhi. Okay. और जो इंटरनेशनल बुकर प्राइज मिलता है ट्रांसलेटिव वर्क के लिए, उसमें जो प्राइज मनी होता है दैट इज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड बिटवीन द ऑथर एंड द ट्रांसलेटर 50-50. ओके, ठीक है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. द सेंगोल प्लेस्ड इन न्यू पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग इज एसोसिएटेड विद विच एंशिएंट इंडियन डायनेस्टी? Sengol that is placed in the new parliament building. The answer is Mauryas, Cholas, Guptas and Marathas. Answer is option C. Cholas are associated with Sengol. Cholas in Tamil Nadu. Chola dynasty of Tamil Nadu. Sengol is associated with them. And this represents transfer of power and just rule. And the Sengol was given by Mountbatten to Jawaharlal Nehru during the independence. Okay. So these were all the questions in this session. I believe जो भी डिस्कस किया वो सारी बातें समझ में आई होंगी और this session पसंद आया होगा. ठीक, give a feedback in the comment section as well, and also like this session if you like this content. That's all for this session. Bye bye, take care, and next session में we'll be doing some more questions. Keep learning.